Hey everybody, I'm Paintball Dad. Thanks for tuning into my channel. And today I'm going to make a quick video where I actually will give some authentic Paintball Dad advice. I'm going to show you guys how to do some quick stitching to fix up some of your paintball gear. Specifically anything that is fabric. So pants, jerseys, padding, maybe even a backpack. I actually have stitched all of these things myself. And the reason I do this is because a lot of these pieces of equipment can be expensive, and you might not want to have to, shell out the money to buy a totally new jersey or a totally new pair of arm pads or a new backpack when you can just easily stitch the part of it that's broken. Now, I'm not an expert on stitching, but I do know how to stitch a little bit because my mom taught me when I was younger, and it's helped me for a lot of things to, save money when I have something that I really like and I don't really have the money to replace it right away. The image that you see right now on screen is one of my forearm protectors. It's beginning to tear, and what I've noticed from that tear is that it's making it so that it doesn't grab onto my arm as tightly, and the pad feels pretty loose now. So I want to fix that because I like these forearm protectors. For me, I use forearm protectors a lot because I am a front player, or a one as it's called right now. Specifically, I'm usually the snake player. So I do a lot of sliding on my forearms. I do a lot of crawling. I definitely need some good arm pads, and it's been really difficult for me to find arm pads that I like. I used to have some HK, well, these are also HK arm pads, but there's two different types of HK. I don't remember the exact brand, name of each model that they have, but one specific arm pad I found to be very bulky and stiff. Then I went for the more expensive one, the one that I have right now. It's a lot more soft, and it's lighter, and it feels like I'm not even wearing anything most of the time, and I have complete flexibility of my arm, whereas the first pair that I bought made my arm feel kind of stiff. And I think back in the day, that was like the common trend with forearm protectors. They were getting bigger and bulkier. Now they've started to slim down, but these slimmer ones actually still provide total protection. I wasn't expecting to have this much protection, to be honest, because I was used to the idea that I needed to have a bigger, bulkier forearm protector in order to be able to, slide and not hit like the nerve on my elbow or something like that. But then I gave this one a shot, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that it works really well. So I don't want to have to go through the process of looking for a different kind of arm protector, or I don't want to buy another one right now because I just don't want to spend the money. So I'm gonna stitch it because this is a simple thing that I can fix, and it'll get me back in the field right away. Now, the first thing that I want to show you, and this is very important, when you're stitching something, you want to turn the item inside out. So that's what I've done here. See, the padding is on the inside. I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but I've flipped the forearm protector inside out. And the reason we want to do that is I'm going to show you a picture somewhere on this screen. So here's a picture of a pair of pants that I have. It's a pair of jogging pants. They're actually paintball pants. They're made by Empire. I like them a lot. They're advertised as like lounge jogger type pants, and I wear them sometimes at home, and sometimes I wear them for when I'm playing. One time I wore them to a paintball field where I was playing woods ball, and naturally there was a lot of rocks on that field. So after doing some sliding and kneeling, by the end of the day my pants were tearing. And you'll see there's two circles that I've made on this picture. The green one is the part where I turned it inside out and started stitching, and you can see it looks a lot cleaner. The red circle is where I first started stitching, and I forgot to turn it inside out. And that's what happens when you don't turn it inside out. You're gonna have the stitching part exposed. You're not gonna see that clean seam. You're gonna actually see like all the threading that goes on behind it. So I'm gonna get my needle and thread ready. What I like to do to make this a little easier on me to get the thread into the needle is what I do is I take one end. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but I'm gonna take one end, and I'm just gonna fold it over and make like a loop, and then that loop just has like a little bit of extra firmness on it. Let me see that. See? So that it's gonna have a little extra firmness to be pushed through the eye of the needle. And there we go. So that way you're not like struggling to get the thread through the needle. Now, you're gonna want to pull this through and have equal sides on either end, and then just tie a knot at the end of the thread. Just a simple square knot, I believe it's called, or a double knot, whatever you want to call it. Something simple, just to make sure that the thread doesn't leave the needle. And what this is also going to do is it's going to catch when you start threading it through the fabric, so that it stops the thread from pulling completely through. There we go. So now I have a loop. See, my thread, and at the end of it, my needle. Now, let's start stitching. You take your item, whatever it may be, your forearm protector. So I'm going to start with this smaller hole. See, I have a big hole up here, and I got a smaller hole down here. Let's start with the smaller hole. Start on one end. Let's see, there we go. Start on one end, stick it through, and then on the other side, I'm going to try to go a little bit farther past the rip, because this is like a weaker fabric on the inside. It's like a mesh kind of fabric, and so I want to get a little more of that so that I can have a stronger hold on the other side. Oop. Just go once in, and then you'll see, oh, you know what? My knot wasn't big enough. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be gentle. The knot actually can pull through this fabric. I'm gonna have to be a little more gentle. Let me pull it through. Maybe if I go on the outside of that original factory stitching. Actually, my mistake. I shouldn't even be pulling it that far through, because what I should be doing is opening up this big loop on the opposite end. See? And now I'm going to stick the needle through that loop and pull it tight. There we've begun our first stitch. And I'm just going to repeat that simple process. Stick it through, try to get close to where I originally started, and then through the other side. And again, keep your hand on this loop, stick the needle through that loop. This is straining my eyes. I'm getting older now, I gotta start wearing glasses more. All this last week, I've been feeling like I need to wear my glasses. And that's kind of a new experience to me. Getting old in general is kind of a new experience to me. And again, we're going to keep repeating the process. Stick it in through one side, come out on the other side, and then back it into that loop again. Pull it tight. And each time you pull it tight, you're sealing it together. And back through the other side. And then back into that loop, pull it tight. Now you're going to be surprised at how much thread you actually need. And that's actually why I'm using this light brown thread instead of a black thread. I've actually already gone through most of my black thread, and so I want to save it in case there's something that I actually need black thread for. I don't really care too much about the color of the thread on an item like this, because this is not something that's going to be visible for the most part. Usually I'm going to be wearing a jersey or a shirt over my forearm protector. So let's see here, just to make sure you guys have a good view on the camera. I probably should have done this from the beginning, but so you see, stick it one side and then come out on the other side, and then stick it through that loop. One side, other side, and then through that loop. Pull it tight. We're almost done. I'm going to go a little bit faster here. I'm also going to restitch some of the areas that I went over, just to like reinforce them. Okay, and now we're just going to break the needle free from the thread. Now, try pulling it. I'm actually using some good force on it, and it's not coming apart. So I think it'll hold while I'm diving pretty well. But just to be safe, I am gonna do this process over again. And now let me turn it inside out, or right side out, so you guys can see what I'm talking about as far as the look of it. So there, you can see, I probably could have done it a little bit closer each stitch, but again, I'm not a professional. I'm just doing this well enough to teach you guys how to fix your stuff. And like I showed you, it does hold up to when I'm pulling it apart. So I'm pretty confident it's gonna hold together when I'm diving as well. And that saves you $50 to $100 depending on what brand of forearm protectors you're gonna buy. And it doesn't look too bad. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys learned something, and hope you guys enjoyed my first, well, I guess this is technically my second authentic paintball dad advice video. I guess the first one would be my fitness one, but that was more intended for other young dads. This one's more like for, I guess, the younger players who are, struggling to find the money to continue playing, and they want to keep their equipment going. But I guess also for, you dads out there, if you have your kids that are playing, and hey, now you know how to fix their stuff if they need something fixed. Anyways, thanks guys.